Hi guys, welcome, TSM here. So here we go, it's the VXP weekend. The assault targets are out there for the Confessor. I'm just going to go through basically a breakdown of the target, and then we'll look at some builds, and then we'll do a bit of a live hit on the target itself. So these are slides, let's move forward and just take a little look. Right, that's what the target looks like, okay. On the water, obviously it's the 44, the vital execution point, okay. And inside the target you can see then there is obviously one massive turret in the middle, and it looks like a Brimstone, and it has a huge range, and it fires some really interesting artifacts at you. You can see there's some ships, whether they'll be the actual ships in the raid or whether they're just markers for now in the VXP. We'll have to wait and see, but as it looks at the moment, I'll break down what's in the target. Okay, so we've zoomed in a little bit. It's obviously not the whole target now. First and foremost, I think the point to make a note of is the start point in the target, and that's over here. Okay, so you always start, no matter which angle you're on, you always start at this point here. It's quite far across, obviously, but I've zoomed in. So the first thing that you may or may not come across is this turret here, okay, and you notice I put a red star next to it, and the red stars indicates that those turrets are penetrative, okay then? So penetrative, you know, missiles and that sort of stuff. Okay, this one here then, you can't outrange it, and it does need evade to assist you so that the weapons don't get through. MDS3s take down some of them, they don't take them all. But what I have noticed as well, I'll try again in a minute, but I did notice it fired at number 1 ship only, which I thought was a bit bizarre. So it fired at the first ship and not the others. We'll confirm that again in a moment. Moving around then, this actually looks a bit weird because it looks like, and it may just be a marker again, it may be different in the real target, but it looks like a Cold Snap 2. It's clearly not, because obviously that's an explosive turret, but this is also another penetrative turret. Moving around then, this is quite common, it's the Armageddon. There's a better one over here, look, and you can see it's directional, okay. You can see its arc of fire there, so you can sneak around the back of there. So far that's the only corrosives you've got. There's another one of those bizarre looking penetrative ones over there as well. Moving down to ships then, the armored Marauders, we have had these in the game before. I was concerned about these initially, but actually they seem to have to stop to fire, and if you're just driving around then they never seem to fire, but we'll give that a confirmatory go when we get into the target itself. Moving on to a couple of other things then. Up the top then, there's a single Ravager. It is obviously splatting you with as much corrosive as it possibly can, and obviously when it goes into its overload, it goes absolutely bonkers and runs all over the target. Okay, so you may need some quite fast ships, I'm not really sure yet, but we'll talk about ship builds in a bit. Like I said, the Brimstone, that fires corrosive at you, okay, and it seems to be avoidable, but don't drive too fast where it's about to land near you, because you might run into one of the pools of effect, which you can see when you do, because you get a little indication on your ship. You get a little like down arrow, I think it's orange or red. And what else are we left with then? Oh, we're left with bizarrely the countermeasure here. I marked those in blue. Okay, then these are the elite countermeasures, although I didn't see them fire when I was firing my ships, which I thought was a bit bizarre, because they should be able to take down missiles, but I didn't see them fire. I got really, really close. I even took in the PvP subs, got really, really close, and they didn't do anything. Last thing to talk about then is, yes, it looks like a Hellhound. It probably is a Hellhound, but actually it fires penetrative missiles at you. All right, so that's the last ship. So 3 different types of ships so far. This is only the first bit of the target. There's obviously more turrets, and there's obviously more ships, but obviously that's basically about it. So red for this is penetrative, okay, green corrosive, and obviously the countermeasures are put in blue. Start point always seems to be the same. One good thing about the VXP target before we go into it then, clearly you can outrange this one, which is nice. You can obviously get around the back of these Armageddons, which is nice as well. You can't outrange this one here, so you might want to go and take that with your PvP ship if you need to get VXP. These don't seem to fire at you until they're stationary, so just keep moving. These do, the Hellhounds, but you can stun them as best you can, okay, or try and countermeasure them. And then the annoying one is the Ravager, okay. Brimstone is slightly annoying, but once you get inside of its firing arc, it's not too bad. And actually, if you think about it, you've only actually got to concern yourself about this once the ships are out of the way, that is. Concerns against about this one aftermath launcher, and after that, then actually you're inside the range or you're outside the arc of everything else, so it's not too bad. Okay, let's move on. In fact, before we do, building ships. So here we go, quite a lot on this screen, but it's obviously the October calendar. The things I'm highlighting is, at the end of the month, obviously, is the Assault TLC. Based off of last month's TLC, there were 5 upgrade tokens. Okay, there were 5 upgrade tokens for the ships, the standard ships. Okay, so just bear that in mind. And also moving across to November's calendar for next month as well, I've put down when the raid starts, so you need to be ready by around about the 9th. Okay then. But pillage is a week before. Now, based off of this month's pillage, okay, and there was 4 upgrade tokens as well. So there's 9 days worth of tokens there for upgrading. Okay, I think it's about 4.5 days to get ourselves into a position to do that Assault TLC, and then to get into pillage, and then to upgrade our ships. So it could be a lot worse. Right. Okay, let's have a look at some gameplay then, and we'll take a look at the target live play. Ships first. If you want to look at builds, we'll do it now before we go out and actually damage them, because they'll be knackered before I get back in. So this is my thoughts at the moment. Now, based on what we just saw there, lots of things you can avoid and lots of things you can drive around. Some things are quite fast, like the ships and that sort of stuff, and some of the missiles you might want to get in there quite quickly. It seems like you can avoid a lot of the corrosive, but I'm not really sure. There is obviously that one hull at the top that when it goes into berserk mode, it is quite frustrating, but everybody else, apart from those aftermath turrets, you seem to be able to avoid. So it may be for me, okay, I haven't, this is as far as I'm going at the moment, okay, but it may be a case of going even on your armors, or possibly 1 extra on the penetrative. Yeah, it's personal choice, okay? I haven't decided yet, but this is probably the way I'll go, I think, to be honest. But now I've actually got some armor on, and now the ships are actually ranked. I wait to do this video until they were ranked. I'm going to go back and have a little look again. The conundrum, I suppose, that everybody's wondering is what to do with the last special. So we do have some options. I've got a funny feeling, as I just said, whilst I haven't seen the flagship, we could either need evade, and if we need evade, how much evade do we need? And if we need some more speed, where are we going to get speed from? And if we need neither, we can go for some critical hits. So we do have some options. So clearly, if we're going to go for evade and nothing else, then it's Guidance Scrambler, which if we look down through, then there's no evade upgrade in here. Okay, then that gets you up to 74.3. You should have some if you're an alliance already. Obviously, you can get a bit extra. And obviously, we can use the crew as well, which is Sea Serpents. So that can add a bit more again. There are other options though over here. As we said, you can actually pull out, and then you can use Hyper 30 if you wanted to. That actually gets your combat speed, I think, up to 91 or something. Yes, it does, 91. Okay, and that's going to get your evade up to 64. So not so high, but reasonable combat speed. You can actually clear that off. Look, and if you look at the combat speed, it would have been 79. Okay, so you've just lost 12 combat speed there. That may be important to you. It depends on how you drive. The other option you can go for, which is somewhere in the middle, is this one here, which is the bolstered bow. Why? Because it's got an evade bonus of 40%, but it's also got corrosive and penetrative survival. Not a huge amount, but it's got some there. Okay, so if you're on low upgraded ships, and this can help a little bit. Okay, so that gets you up to, well, yeah, 69.4. Okay, but it'll still be the same combat speed because we haven't done anything with that. So that's the sort of options you can go for on the full power ships. Now, I'm not going countermeasures on each ships because I quite like the fact that these are quite thuggish. Okay. On their hitting power as well, and the fact that I've got, you know, a good reload, which is not so much for these because we nearly get maxed out on these ones, but it is for obviously this missile here in the center because its reload speed is 8, so I want to boost that up as well. But what I have got is reasonable accuracy, but what I have definitely got is plenty of penetrative damage, okay, and plenty of building damage as well, so that's important. Wall damage doesn't matter in this instance. So those are the options. At the moment, I'm not going to put anything on. if I was going to go GS3, I would probably wait until after pillage until seeing the stats of the flagship, which will come in pillage, because you've still got a week. And bear in mind, it's only about, if I take that off, let's just take that off a second and clear that. And take that off. Look, that's the standard ship. If I just wanted to put on a Guardian Scrambler 3, actually it's pretty darn quick. Look, 3.5 hours. So that's pretty decent. You never know if you roll, obviously, and go out and do your every second day, you get that small campaign, and you can get yourself a little token here. You can actually roll some build token 1 hour ones, and a lot of these can be done for free if you roll some of these. So there's an option for Guardian Scrambler 3. So that's it basically for what I'm going to hit for the main hitting ones. We'll go again and let's have a look at the countermeasure ship that I'm thinking about. So here we go. This one here then, I've gone for 4 MDS3. It's pretty overkill, to be honest. 3 would probably do it, but it seems it was just to make up token time. I may in the long run take one of these off, because 30, because it fires obviously 10 at a time, 30 is probably plenty enough for the number of missiles I saw incoming. We've already said about, we're not really sure about whether this will be a penetrative or whether it'll be corrosive, and obviously I've got to wait for the heavy weapon to come in next week's FM. Right. Okay. So clearly, the best countermeasure for this ship is obviously this defense system here. The only thing that frustrates you, if you are going to go for an evade hull, then you need to decide: are you going to leave it as this, or are you going to take something off? Clearly, you're not going to take off the range. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't think taking off projectile speed would help either, because projectile speed helps the MDS3s. You clearly can't take off your engine. This is really, really helpful because it also has a lot of projectile speed, which also helps MDS3s. So if you are actually going to take something off, you'll actually take off the new Pen Bat 3. And whilst it does give pen damage and building damage, I think that's the lesser of the evils. Okay, and actually then it's probably that one I would take off and swap it over Guardian Scrambler. So if it needs to be evade, that would be my plan. If it doesn't need to be evade, I would just leave it alone and leave the new special like that, just let it go like that. So that's the plan. Right, target. Let's go and have a look. We won't use any crew or anything. We'll just go out as we are. And the other two ships are miles off. Yeah, they've only got a few weapons on and that sort of stuff, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. We've got plenty of time just yet. So just to prove it there, we'll go and hit a 44 in case something's changed. There's one over here, look. We'll go over to here and we'll take a little look. So we're going to go in at 3 o'clock, but it should start at 9. Okay, so yeah, we start at 9 o'clock. So first things first, we're going to upset these Marauders and clear them out of the way. And take note of the angle of this one, so that fires upwards. We know we can outrange this one, that one we can't outrange, and that's the range of the Brimstone, look. There. So we know we can dance around and get pretty close. There we go, they're triggered. So if I come down here, look. So far, so there was one there, so he's stopping, so I should have gone at a slightly different angle. There we go, to fire at me, he's got to stop, so just remember that's corrosive damage. So it's air effect. Evade won't make any difference whatsoever for those. So on this island here, this is the only turret we need to worry about. So I'm not sure, is that what that effect is there yet? I haven't looked that one up yet. It's probably something built in because they're stacked, but we'll have a little look at it in a moment. Right, let's go and stun this thing and then try and kill it as quickly as we can. Oh, look, and there's the effect. Obviously, I'm just inside the range, so now you can see what the Brimstone does. Look, there's those corrosive clouds. Look, and so long as you don't drive into them, then you won't see it in effect. I'll tip one just so you can see it, if I can get into it. There you go. See the little orange bit that came up then? I'll do it again. It doesn't do a great deal of damage. There's one up the top there, look. I go into it slowly. There you go, see the little orange bit comes up in your ship. So it does do damage all over your fleet, okay? It's even to all the ships. Look, you can see I've got damage there. Okay, but you know, you can avoid it because it does fire around you. If you take a look at the range again, we'll just nip back in. We'll sit there. It fires, look. So it's actually quite easy to drive out. I wouldn't say it necessarily follows you. And I'm on the slowest speed, obviously, don't forget. I haven't actually used the Hyper 30, so not too bad. So this one here you can clip without actually going into the fire path of the Brimstone itself. Which is nice. And then this one here, then obviously you definitely can outrange it. Like I said, I'm not really sure what turret this is, to be honest. The Brimstone's going to fire, but I'm not bothered. I'm just going to sit here. So don't worry too much about that. This doesn't seem to fire at all. There you go, not a single thing, which is odd. We'll just wait. I can imagine in the driving target as opposed to the auto target, it's probably going to be a couple of those Brimstones, so it might start getting overloaded if you aren't careful. Let's see if we can get these Marauders out of the way. Two. See how fast these turn. These are really, really quick. These holes. Now that I've ranked them, they're much faster. Okay, so that one's done. Again, we're going to outrank. That doesn't look like it's been quite a bit pixelated, isn't it? Quite finished off right. Now the range, by the way, I think the range of these is around about 95. It's somewhere between the two. So there's my countermeasure range, which is the green arc, and there's my obviously my missile range. And actually, you've got a bit of forgiveness on this turret, so it's not too bad. Right, okay. So we're getting somewhere. We're not too bad. We'll deal with ships in a moment. We're just going to keep an eye on these arcs. Get this other one out of the way, this Armageddon. Oh, I think I'm lagging. I am. And it's fine because I'm a bit too close. Oh well, that's my own fault. I lagged on that one, unfortunately. Okay, so we're going to take out this other turret. We know it's not going to hit us because it's facing the wrong way. That's good. We'll probably trigger a ship now. Yeah, I thought so. Here it comes. So this has got quite a reasonable range, you'll notice. And you'll notice it's quite quick. It seems to have a sort of a really lazy path, but you can stun it. So it got off, what, 1 or 2 missiles. So not too bad, to be honest. Right. So that bit's done. The only bit was concerning us was this, wasn't it? This Armageddon over here. Everything else, we're just going to watch the arcs. We were not too concerned. Here's the other ship coming down now. Is it going to come at us? Yes, it is. So we're going to drive straight at it. Stun it. Just keep stunning it. Keep it in our area here. Wait for this other Brimstone to finish firing. All right, okay. So ships are all gone. That one's going upwards. That one's going downwards. That one's going that way. That doesn't do anything. And that's, well, we'll wait for him in a minute. So we'll clear this off first to give ourselves a bit of space just in case there's a problem. A bizarre lag for some reason, don't know why. Oh, why am I lagging so bad? Okay, so lag or no lag, we should be able to get in. Take out that other turret. Good. We're inside the range now, the Brimstone, so here comes that last hull. Now it travels nice and slow, and I recommend probably hitting that last, so you've got a bit of time yet, because it doesn't fire very far. So it's going to try and chase us down. We've got plenty of time to get away from it. There's another turret up there yet to worry about. So it can we'll just let it try and chase us for a second. What's the angle of this one? So we'll just be cautious not to get caught by that one. Now this first missile hits this, it's going to go absolutely crazy, so we've got to be cautious. If anybody happens to know what this turret is, I'm interested. Alright, it's going to shoot that. There we go, it's going to shoot the ship now. So let's draw the ship towards us. Oh, it's in. Oh, okay. So it's in our area. Built-in stun missile. Right, let's go straight at it and let's see what we can do. Here we go. Now hopefully we can keep it within our zone. I'm trying to keep it stunned as much as I possibly can. Try and chase it down. Got it. Look at the damage now, look. It was quite a painful... We're nearly done though. Even with the lag I just had, unfortunately. I'm not doing it again though. Last turret. And completed. I mean, don't worry about the damage now. It's a VXP target. Damage is always super high. We'll worry about that in the raid. It's just to show you how to take the target down and how each ship works. Okay, and that was my point though. I mean, irrelevant how poorly I drove, and yes, I know I probably got a little bit more corrosive than I thought I would have done, but then I did drive into the those clouds from the Brimstone a couple of times just to show what they did. Okay, so with 4% taken and 3% taken, that corrosive I think would have been lower. So I'm still of the mind probably to do 3 penetrative armors, so that's probably my plan. Oh, 1 VXP target completed. Right, okay, that's it. Have fun. Okay, then we've gone through a build. We've gone through the target teardown basically, and we've got a rough idea. Like I said, upgrade tokens available. They'll be in pillage, they'll be in the TLC, okay, and you've still got plenty of days yet, obviously, before the next raid, which is going to be the 9th of next month. So enjoy yourselves, and happy PPing. Take care.